students enjoy our food prints, where we learn how to cook food, especially where we learn how to plant in the garden and more. Another one of Marie Reed Elementary School's activities is Velo City. Velo City is where the students get to be athletic. For example, in Velo City, you get to play soccer, run laps, and also have fun. I appreciate all Mayor Bowser does to make sure DC is fun and safe for children like me. Please welcome Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you, Ava. Thank you. Everybody give Ava a big round of applause. Wow, what an excellent introduction, Ava. And I am so happy to say good morning to you and your colleagues at Marie Reed. I am happy to be here with members of our public safety team. So I want to introduce our Chief of Police, Chief Conti. Give Chief Conti a big round of applause. The Director of our Parks and Recreation Department, Delano Hunter. Give him a big round of applause. The Director of our Office of Gun Violence Prevention, Linda Harley Harper. The Director of the Mayor's Office of Nightlife and Culture, Selena Vondernat. Give her a big round of applause. And the Director of the DC Department of Transportation. Give them a round of applause. And I also want to recognize members of our public education team. Where are the teachers and staff of Marie Reed? Give them a big round of applause. So Ava had it exactly right. We're here to talk about safety and fun. And it is part of our job in DC government to make sure you're safe, have fun, and that you learn a lot. So your speech was right on point for what we're here to talk about. Now this is it's a fun weekend, right? What's happening this weekend and on Monday? It's Halloween. And so we want to remind the children, but also the adults who may be watching, how to stay safe on Halloween. So we expect our nightlife corridors this weekend will be very busy with Halloween festivities. And so one of our most important lessons is that as you are driving this weekend and on Monday, we need everybody to slow down and be extra vigilant, looking for our young people who may be in costumes. Some of them are dark. Some of them they can't see that well outside of their costumes. So we need everyone who is driving to look out for our kids and to be extra careful on our roadways. And when children get excited, we know that they're running around in between houses. We want everybody, all the adults, to make sure our children are being well supervised and that they are wearing costumes that are well fitting so they're not tripping or falling and that they can see in those costumes. On Monday and throughout the weekend, we know that everybody is going to be out trick-or-treating, not eating their candy all on one day, right? And waiting for your parents to check all of your treats, right? All right. I also want to emphasize that the Nightlife Task Force, which is made up of multiple DC government agencies, will be out in our nightlife corridors on Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday, I should mention. And the Chief of Police works well with all of those agencies so that people who work for us, 37,000 people work for DC government, and many of them are going to be out. We also have what we call go teams out in areas where we expect that there could be large gatherings. And we want to remind everybody to be mindful of where you're going, who's there, and if you're going to be safe. The GO teams are made up of non-law enforcement partners like our credible messengers and violence interrupters. They will be out on Saturday and Monday evening as well. And for our kids and teens, DPR is hosting over, DPR, where the fun happens, is hosting over 30 Halloween events, which Director Hunter will tell you more about. So with that, Marie Reed, we're going to hear a few short comments from our team, and then I think there's something here that is a spooky treat that you'll get to see. So with that, you'll hear from Chief Conti, Director Lott, followed by Director Hunter, and then I'll be able to answer a few questions while you go see the haunted house. Chief Conti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to acknowledge these beautiful faces from Marie Reed, and I'm looking back here and seeing some of the little ones tippy-toeing, trying to see what's going on. I am just so incredibly proud to see all of you. Being a former DC public school student myself, it just brings back so many memories around this exciting time of the year. So I am the Chief of Police, Robert Conti, and I want to thank everyone for coming. As the mayor said, our top priority this weekend and into Halloween is safety of the whole District of Columbia. This weekend will bring celebrations, trick-or-treating, and families out and about. There's something for everyone this weekend, and we want to make sure everyone can enjoy the district's many events and activities. Our officers will be extra vigilant in our neighborhoods throughout the Halloween weekend, but it takes everyone to help. Many people don't think about spending Halloween with MPD, but we have some really cool safe haven events happening at all of our districts across the city. From festivals to trunk or treats to haunted houses like this one here at the 3rd District. We have events for children of all ages. We really encourage you to come check out some of our events and engage with officers as they put on their costumes. I think I see a couple of them back there. Hey, Spider-Man, one of our officers back there, as they put on their costumes to engage our community. There's a full schedule of events on MPD's website and social media. As a father myself, I want to take a moment to talk to parents about how we can make sure all of our kids are staying safe while trick-or-treating in their neighborhoods. Just like my son, I know your kids are excited to put on their costumes and go trick-or-treating. Have a plan ahead of time and take a moment to have a conversation with children about being aware of their safety while they are out trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treat in groups or with an adult present. Children should stay within familiar areas and surroundings. Children should use flashlights and stay on the sidewalks. Never go inside of a stranger's house. Never, ever, ever go inside of a stranger's house. With the sun setting earlier, make sure your kids are visible throughout the night. Make sure their costumes have a bright color or reflective materials. If your kids are wearing darker costumes, attach glow sticks to their costume that they can be seen from the front and the back. If they're wearing a mask, make sure it doesn't obstruct their vision. Avoid toy weapons. I know some of you might have police officer costumes, but let's try to avoid toy weapons. I know kids can get excited about getting to the next house for candy, but most importantly, we all need to make sure kids are aware of cars and traffic. Kids should always cross the street at crosswalks or corners and make sure they look both ways before crossing the street. Make sure they never cross between parked cars in the middle of the street. For drivers, it's your job to be aware as well. Slow down and watch carefully for our children. If you are out celebrating Halloween and having a drink, use one of many ride-sharing partners, Metro Transit, or a designated driver. And I have a message for people who choose to get behind the wheel after drinking. We have no tolerance for those who put our children and our communities at risk. Our traffic enforcement and impaired driving enforcement section will be out in force looking for people who are drunk, behind the wheel. For those who choose to disregard the safety of our kids and families, we will hold you accountable. Halloween isn't just about the kids. We know there are many Halloween parties and haunted houses throughout the district. Our multi-agency nightlife task force, as the mayor mentioned, will be deployed this weekend to our entertainment corridors to help ensure people are enjoying the weekend in a safe manner. With that, I want to reiterate, it is everyone's job to make sure that we are all doing our part to make sure we are keeping everyone safe this Halloween weekend. I'm going to turn it over to Director Everett Lott with the district's Department of Transportation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chief. And Mayor, thank you very much. Question for you all. Are we going to have some fun this weekend? Yeah! Are we going to have some fun? Yeah! And are we going to be safe this weekend? Yeah! All right. I love it. I love it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Everett Lott, and I am the Director for the District Department of Transportation. And I am extremely, extremely happy to be here with the Mayor and with my colleagues at Metropolitan Police Department, the Nightlife Office, and the Department of Parks and Recreation. I must say that I also really, really love and enjoy Halloween. I have a son that I've taken out trick-or-treating for many, many years now, and so it's really important to him, it's really important to us that we do it as a family, and we also do it very safely. It's a party. It's a party where the venue is now our sidewalks, there are streets, and there are also our public spaces. So it's a celebration that's actually putting DC's walkability on display. And it gets the kids out, gets y'all to have some exercise, and also enjoy some of that fun and sweet candy. Halloween is a very, very fun event for all ages, not just the kids, but even for some of the adults. But it's also one of the most dangerous days for the year, or of the year, when it comes to traffic safety, and especially when it involves our younger people. So with the night falling earlier, it's darker outside, and it's hard to see all the excitement of the night can serve as a distraction. So I need everyone to kind of keep this in mind. Studies have shown that the risk of pedestrian fatality is 43% higher on Halloween compared to any other day. That's 43%. So just think about that. And for children the risks are even higher. A Washington Post analysis from a few years ago found that pedestrians under the age of 18 were 3 times more likely to die from being hit by a car on Halloween versus any other day in the U.S. So those are some very, very scary statistics, and it's a reminder of why we're so committed to getting those odds down to 0 here in Washington, D.C., and not just on Halloween, but throughout the year. So as we progress with our Vision Zero fiscal year 2023 projects, we're bringing to fruition the mayor's budget commitments from earlier this year by improving safety on our high injury corridors. And this will be all around the district. This is where we have a high number of injuries, a high number of fatalities on roads such as Connecticut Avenue, where we're taking some very, very bold steps to build safer streets for everyone. And where we're taking that same attitude and that same approach on improvements to like Martin Luther King Jr. in Southeast, we're also rebuilding that particular corridor with safety in mind. And the same goes for our redesign efforts for Florida Avenue Northeast and also for Minnesota Avenue Southeast. So that is our commitment to make our streets safer throughout all of Washington, D.C., and that's for everyone. So DDOT is committed, and I am grateful to have Mayor Bowser and all of our partners here supporting this commitment. And we also need your help too. So make sure you and all the trick-or-treaters out there, whether you're walking, whether you're rolling, whether you're biking, that you stay vigilant and you stay extra, extra vigilant and extra, extra safe. And if you're driving, to all those adults out there, please slow down. Remember, it's our kids, it's your kids, it's these kids, and these are all of our kids. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep our loved ones safe. And I wish all of you and all those out there a very, very fun Halloween. And now I'm going to introduce the Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Delano Hunter. Thank you.
Good morning. As the mayor mentioned, at DPR, we are known as the place where fun happens. And this weekend, that fun will be in overdrive as we celebrate Halloween. But this weekend will be the place where not just fun happens, but safe fun, free fun, and inclusive fun. And we have dozens of events all across the city this weekend, and we're grateful to Mayor Bowser for her support. And there's a little something for everyone, not just the kids, Mayor Bowser. This weekend will have a Halloween event. Last year we had over 200 dogs in costumes dressed up at Guy Mason Dog Park. That'll happen this year. Also, we have events for teens and young adults, such as our costume basketball 3-on-3 tournament at Trinidad. And that's just a few. We want you to check out our 23rd annual Haunted House on the Hill at Fort Davis Recreation Center, and so many more events across the city this weekend. So we ask that you log on to dpr.events to check out the fun. We want you to register, and we want you to show up and have a good time. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Mayor Bowser for our next events in the press conference. Thank you.
Thank you. So, DC, please go check all of our websites, DPR, and all of our agencies who are hosting events. Will be so happy to see you there. Be safe in your neighborhoods. Get to know your neighbors. Kids have fun. And we are going to be able now to check out what MPD has to offer over here with the fun house. Okay, so let's dismiss our boys and girls to take a look at the haunted house, and then I will be available for questions. Thank you, MPD, for setting this up for us. Questions?
There it is. We got it all. There you go.
How safe it is to put kids out on the street, walking around, fears that parents might have.
Yeah, Mark, certainly I understand the concern. But, you know, we come together as a community. We come together as law enforcement. We come together as responsible parents. We come together just as an entire community for our kids to have a good time. Certainly there are instances when we see these acts of violence that occur in communities that make people fearful. But we're going to be out there. The Metropolitan Police Department is going to be out there, and we're asking other community members to come out as well to make sure that we have a safe and happy Halloween for all, Mark. Thank you.
To that end, we've had 2 shootings this week at the Navy Yard.
Yeah.
The incident on. That's a popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's city. But when it's in
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
area like that, what do you want to tell people who might have concerns about their safety when they do this in a high traffic
so
area
what I
like
want to
that?
say about that one in particular that occurred last night, you know, while we are focused on that issue, that was essentially a love triangle where someone had a gun, the victim and the suspect both worked at one of the establishments down there. And when you introduce an illegal firearm to a dispute between people, bad things happen. And that is an example of what happens. And I have been saying that and saying that and saying that. We have to keep the focus on the illegal firearms in our city. And when people are caught with those illegal firearms, the consequences, the penalty associated with that, we have to be dead on target with that. We really, really, really do. Because it's things like that that scare people. They really scare people. And again, in that situation, a love triangle, they work there. And I should add to that our police officers were there. They made the arrest of the suspect. They recovered the firearm. The shooting still happened, and I wish it didn't happen. But we got to make sure we stay focused on illegal firearms in our community.
I have a question. Oh, here we are. Okay. So, Mayor, there was a young man, his name is Sean Powell Jr. He is a junior at Eastern High School. He has been denied the ability to play football this season, basically because DCIAA decided to recalculate his GPA from a school in Virginia. I understand former Mayor Gray has sent you a letter asking you to intervene. Are you aware of this case, and what are your thoughts?
I am aware of it at a high level. I know that DCPS has reviewed it thoroughly, and unfortunately our student athlete is not eligible based on, I do believe it's based on grades.
According to the grades, Mayor, he is eligible. He was only ruled eligible because DCPS or DCIAA decided to recalculate his grades. And in fact, the former budget director of the District of Columbia has looked at it and says basically he doesn't see how they reached that decision. A number of people have said that, and that's it. What I'm basically trying to find out, why is one young person getting so much attention in terms of recalculating grades, etc., from the school system?
I might ask why a budget director is getting involved in a school matter. I mean, that's another way to look at it. But I can tell you the same. Or perhaps because he's intervening in a way that's inappropriate. And so what I can commit to, Sam, is having a further conversation with DCPS. Listen, our public school officials, they want kids to participate. They want them to be engaged in athletics. But there are eligibility requirements. Now, put yourself on the other end of this. If we have an ineligible student playing in games, then the other teams, then they start to complain. That's why we have a system of rules, and we ensure that the rules apply to everyone. You've been around high school sports a long time. You know about accusations of ineligibility. You know that they lead to questions of who won and who's the justified. You know all of that, right? And so that's why we have a system of rules. And so I asked the council members, I asked their staff, I think that's who you're talking about, to let the professionals in the school system or in the league do their work and do it accordingly. I will take a look at it, but I have every confidence in those professionals. Yes?
A gentleman is going to appear in court today charged with planting a spy camera in a
Yeah.
mother and daughter's bathroom.
Yeah.
We've read the charging documents. What can you tell us about this case and the possibility of more victims than the ones the two we know of?
Yeah, so obviously it's a very sick thing. Someone hired a contractor, and when you vet your contractor, you expect them to do the work that you paid them to do, not any extra, like placing a stealthy camera someplace on your property to record you in your, in your private interactions in your home. I'm thankful that the complainant in this case was able to detect that camera, report that to law enforcement. Law enforcement was able to investigate and ultimately bring this case to closure. But, I would say what I would say to any, community member: know who you're hiring. It's important to have the work check behind, that you have people do. But, ultimately we have people in our community, unfortunately, who do sick things like this. And when those things are detected, there has to be accountability for them. So I'm interested to see what the outcome in the court will be today for this particular person. We're monitoring the case very closely, and also internally to see if there are any other victims or any other work that was performed for other community members who could have fallen victim. So through messaging through this, as people are seeing this on the news, his name will obviously be released. People will be able to check, see if they've had work done, if in fact this person has placed cameras or something like that in their home.
Quick follow-up.
Yeah.
All we're getting is mother and daughter. I know they've both been interviewed by police. Can you give the ages? Are they both adults? The mother and daughter both adults?
I won't give up information about the victims at this case at this point. Obviously, the mother is an adult. I'm not sure what the actual age of the daughter is. I think the focus certainly has to be on the suspect in this case. Clearly, we know from video that he placed there. We see him actually placing the video as a result of some of the evidence that we've recovered. So I feel like we have a very strong case in this matter, and we're looking forward to it, being adjudicated through the process and this person being held accountable for his actions. Thank you.
Just real quick, Chief, on this weekend being kind of nominally Halloween weekend, are you guys deploying officers in any different sort of way? Is there going to be use of overtime? Are you focusing in certain areas? Like, is anything different about this weekend compared to other weekends?
We certainly have an uptick in staffing. The management team, executive staff of the police department, we're all working. We're all out in community across the city. We want to make sure that everyone has a safe and happy Halloween, beginning Friday all the way through the Halloween. We're coordinating and collaborating with our partners, as the mayor mentioned, through our nightlife task force and the various nightlife corridors. But we're all here and working, and again, just hoping for looking to a happy and safe Halloween. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor Bowser, two questions. We wanted to get an answer from you about this perception of violence in some of these higher profile areas. I know Chief Consi answered the question earlier, but wanted to ask you for your response as mayor.
I found your question to be a little curious because we're concerned about violence wherever it happens. And so DC residents and visitors should expect to be safe and feel safe wherever they are in the district. So the chief was very clear, I think, about this particular case. And this particular case could have happened any place, any workplace, any quarrel, conflict about romance, and an illegal firearm. And so that's the point. The point is making sure that every part of our system is vigilant about people not having easy access to firearms, and if they do, having certain punishment about it. So that's what I think is important to focus on. The other thing that I want to highlight as we close is that this is just a demonstration of how we're putting the full spectrum of government activity towards safety. We're talking about prevention, with the GO teams that are going to be out in areas that are credible messengers, VIs, and their whole job is to talk to people who may be in conflict before they get into a conflict. They're out. We're talking about a whole of government approach with our nightlife task force that are DPW, ABRA, police, nightlife professionals who are all out on our high nightlife entertainment corridors to make sure there are a lot of government officials available. We're talking about prevention by MPD and DPR, hosting events for young people. Somebody asked me, should we be concerned about kids being outside? We have a lot of indoor activities for kids. So parents, you have all weekend to find out about them, check them out, and get your kids engaged. And then, of course, we have our police who are there and are going to be deployed in the most strategic ways to be a presence, but also to be there if people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So with that, we're here. Now, the final thing I'll mention is the community. Community you can help. So you may know a young person who's not going to do the right thing before they do it. Call us. You may know a young person that may need to be hooked up with one of these fun activities so they're not hooked up with unsupervised time. Call us. Look on the website and find that out. So we need the community engaged, not just this weekend, but every single day. So thank you, everybody.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.